Alright, just a quick comparison. DGN are in orange, and Timpo Toys are in tan or sand color. Anyway, starting with the rifleman, standing rifleman, his rifle, the DGN rifle is a bit longer than the Timpo rifle. The Timpo helmet is a bit, I'd say, wider. I'd say the DGN is a little bit taller. He's just a touch taller. But not by much. It's a pretty similar pose. Next up, we have the Grenadier. Again, the rifle. First of all, it's in a different pose. This one's, where you can see it's angled more. It's a different angle. That's what I'm trying to say. This one's angled more up. This one's angled. Yeah, I guess it's angled differently. And same thing. Looking at the two rifles, the DGN rifle is quite a bit bigger than the Timpo rifle. Also, the Timpo guy, he has got the steel helmet on, where the DGN guy has just got a beret on. Other than that, their equipment looks pretty similar, just like the rifleman's equipment looks pretty darn similar. Yeah, pretty similar. Alright, next we've got the prone Bren gunner. These guys are fairly similar, except there are a few little details. Let's see if we can bring up here. For one thing, Timpo Bren gunner he's got his gun pointed on more flat, like straight across, whereas the DGN gunner, his Bren gun is pointed more upward. He's aiming a little bit up at something. Again, they have a similar, not quite the same, but pretty similar pose. Similar equipment. Helmets are slightly different. The Timpo one is more flat, and that's about the same width, I'd say. But his helmet's definitely more flat than the DGN one. But yeah, they look real similar. The guns are just slightly different. Sights look a little bit different. The clips are definitely a little different. The DGN clip looks a little shorter and skinnier than the Timpo clip. That could be a casting error, I'm not sure. Anyway, and finally, this was the last pose I could even find that looked, there was even close to an analog between the two, and it's not even quite. The DGN just has this generic officer. It's not necessarily any specific officer that I can identify. There was like 6 or 7 of them in this lot. And then Timpo's officer is Montgomery. It's pretty obvious who it is. Anyway, that's the difference in the officers. Other than that, I couldn't really find very many poses that were essentially the same pose. There definitely each set had, especially the DGN, had a lot of unique poses. So I think DGN kind of came up with their own designs, and they were just trying to make some new poses, even though I've seen some other very poorly made Chinese copies of, like this one here, and of this guy. I've seen some Chinese copies of those, even though these are Chinese themselves. Yeah, these are like the original, I think. some of them could be, it's possible they could be Matchbox or Airfix replicas, but I think DGN tried to make kind of original poses for the armies that they were depicting. And I know that they did Americans, they did Japanese, they did Germans. I want to say I've seen them do French and possibly Russians, all World War II. So I'm looking forward to getting more of those, because this example of DGN that I've gotten here, these have been pretty high quality, as are these Timpos, these Timpo toys. Anyway,